You're watching Guude. You're watching Guude. Fighting just to save our lives. Got you laughing every night.
Welcome back, everybody.
Welcome back.
So, I have a topic for us.
Go on.
So, I'm pretty sure we actually covered this partially. Oh, shit, just fell on, broke the wheat. I think we covered this partially last week, because I think in our second episode we recorded earlier this week, we talked about your wife and the frequency in which a child should sleep with the parent. Did we talk about that?
We did. I don't remember if it was like what episode it was, but we've talked about it recently, yes.
Right. And so, refresh me, like, she thinks that kids should sleep with a parent until a certain age, right?
Well, her mother does.
That's right. Yeah. And what's the age?
I mean, so I was exaggerating when I said the age, but, and I haven't ever gotten out of the family how long it's been. All I've been told is by both younger sisters than my wife that it was excessively borderline inappropriate age.
Right.
Meaning I'm thinking it was till like 7.
Okay. But that's like every single night. Like,
yes,
always.
I think they bed shared until then.
Right. Okay. So, like, in our first episode we recorded on Tuesday, I had just said in passing something about my daughter sleeping with me on, like, Saturday night when she watches TV in my room. And someone made a comment in my Discord saying that this is completely inappropriate, that kids should never sleep with their parents, ever. And that,
See, I disagree with that.
right. I mean, I do too, obviously. Because the thing we were talking about before was an every night sort of thing versus an occasional sort of thing. But he went on to say that he had never, ever slept with his parents. Not once in his lifetime had he ever slept with his parents. And that to do so.
And I mean, it potentially could be not once in his lifetime that he remembers. I almost guarantee at some point when whoever this is was younger, it has happened.
That's what I think too. Like, you have a nightmare and you go crawl into the bed with your parents, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Then my son right now, we're trying to break him, and I'm the person who doesn't think that a child should be sleeping in the parent's bed with any frequency whatsoever. Yet I have a 2-year-old who pretty much has always slept in the bed with somebody. He goes to sleep on his own, but he ends up getting in bed with us at some point. And now that we're moving him into his own room, because he doesn't know how to handle that yet, he goes to sleep on his own, and then I go in there and I sleep in the bed with him. And he literally has his own queen size bed.
Right.
It's like we transitioned from a crib to a toddler car bed for like 4 months to now he's got his own queen size bed.
Right. And when you say with any frequency whatsoever, do you think what I'm doing, like letting her watch TV in my room and sleep with me on Saturday
No.
nights?
I think that's absolutely fine. Falling asleep with them or on special occasions or weekends because they're up late and you're letting them stay up later than normal and you don't want to necessarily be like they're staying up watching what they're doing, but knowing they can say like I'll take naps with them all the time during the day. I'd be like, hey, I'm tired, just do your nap time. Let's go lay down in bed, like cuddle and
and she's not even in this case using me as a security blanket because I'm still working, like I'm streaming or whatever, and she's going to bed, and when I come to bed she's already asleep.
Out of curiosity though, why then?
Because she wants to watch TV. It's more about the TV than sleeping.
Okay. I think that's absolutely fine. But again, I could be being hypocritical. Like I said, even though I don't want to I don't think it's appropriate to do it on a regular basis, yet I'm the one who has a child who has pretty much done it since the day he was born,
right?
Who's over 2 now. So I'm like a weirdest person to talk to about this.
I don't think it's... So to me, okay, I think whenever like a baby... What'd you say?
It wasn't my choice. Like,
right, yeah. I knew that. So I think like whenever they're like infant baby, I would always be afraid of the whole like rolling over them. I know that you guys slept together.
You're absolutely never supposed to sleep with the infant in your bed because of the fact that you could suffocate them.
Mm-hmm. Now I know you guys did that, and sometimes even with my daughter, whenever she'd wake up in the morning, whenever she was just a few months old, I'd give her bottle, and then I'd bring her from the crib into my bedroom or whatever, and turn on the TV or something like that, and I'd watch TV, and I'd probably doze back off, and she'd doze back off and stuff like that. So there was those occasions. It just wasn't all night. I'm in the bed, by the way. Speaking of beds,
I'm heading up toward one now. I'm running from the bottom because there was just too many enemies to get to any of those beds, so it'll be a minute.
So we had this conversation, and then it expanded to the point where
Are you with a child right now by chance in your bed?
No, just by myself. It's totally okay.
Just making sure, just by yourself. In there.
But what you're about to do is going to bring us in the next topic. You're about to lay in a bed next to me. I brought up that one thing I brought up, that my daughter would be sharing a bed with me at a hotel, and that I had been sharing beds with my parents at hotels, and I've shared beds with Mindcrackers at conventions, whatever there wasn't enough beds, those sort of things. And he lost his mind. A couple other people by Discord agree with him too, that people should be sleeping on the floor. They should never be sharing a bed together.
See, I think that's fucking bullshit. I mean, nobody ever wants to have to share a bed with somebody else. It's not necessarily a comfortable situation, but it's something you do because why would you, if you have a bed bigger than a twin,
right?
Why am I going to subject somebody to sleeping on a hard, uncomfortable floor versus half of the bed that I could scoot over for? Exactly. I'm not cuddling with you. Right. I'm not like stroking your genitals. Right. I'm like, whatever. And even a lot of people, I remember back in like college time frame when you had like a girlfriend and you would end up being at some a bunch of people would go to, somewhere. And God, I've slept in places where we've had like 10 of us stuffed into a hotel room before. Yeah. And you have 5 people are in the king size bed if it's a king size bed, or you got like 3 people per queen and there's still people on the floor. Right. And people used to always still get pissy of, you slept in the bed with another girl and you have a girlfriend. It's like, it's not like I was groping them. We fell down and went to sleep after, the 10 of us were out all day in Chicago walking around, or
Where did that creeper come from? I mean, yeah, exactly. I that's the whole point I tried to make too. Like, and they even went on to say that sleeping with your mom,
should never share a room.
Well, no, they didn't say that, but they kept quoting privacy. Like, you need privacy in your bed, and I'm like, if they're sleeping on the floor, how much fucking privacy? I mean, I don't understand your point. How much privacy are you getting exactly?
Do I prefer privacy? Absolutely,
sure. Yeah, I'd have my whole room to myself. Honestly,
I've gone on business trips before where they literally didn't even let us have our own rooms. You shared a room with somebody else. And sometimes that can be uncomfortable because I don't know what your sleeping habits are like. Like, what's your nighttime routine? I watch TV at night. You don't. So I know that, because I'm courteous, I know that if I'm sharing a room with somebody who doesn't watch TV at night, I'm not watching TV.
Right. I mean, it's kind of like our marathons, that type of stuff. Like, we don't, I mean, we're friends and all, so it's not that big of a deal, but everyone's sharing a room, and we're not sharing beds at least, but.
Yeah, nobody thinks twice of it because they're sharing a room with somebody else. However, it's like, and I know, and granted, it's a completely different like staggered schedule, so it's weird. Like, I shared a room with Breon this last time, and clearly he didn't watch TV at night because I would get back to the hotel room and I'd throw the TV on, and it was a really cool hotel that you had like your own personal Chromecast in your room. Which was pretty awesome. You could Chromecast whatever you wanted directly to your TV based on like your room number. So it was pretty cool. Yeah, so I was Chromecasting some stuff on like Netflix, and I would go to sleep, and I'd wake up when my alarm went off, and it was time to go. And Brienne would be sleeping in the bed next to me, and the TV would be off. Clearly, he came in because he doesn't sleep with the TV on. I would turn the TV off after I was asleep. But we didn't go to sleep at the same time. Had we gone to sleep at the same time, I just wouldn't have turned the TV on because I'm not a discourteous person. It's a lot easier for me to fall asleep in the dark than it is for you if you're not used to it to fall asleep with noise and such. Right. And I understand that, but I've known other people, and I heard complaints about other people who somebody was like, the person I'm staying with turns a TV on and refuses to let me turn it off. I'm like, the person's just a dick.
Yeah.
But then I've also gone on business trips where they're like, oh, no, we would never make one of our employees share a room with another employee. And it's probably based on like, liabilities and lawsuit type of problems. And I think that's fucking awesome when I get my own room, like when I'm on a business trip, because I don't expect to. I don't think there's a reason to. I don't take up enough space to need my own room when I'm at a place for a convention. I'm not at the hotel room.
Right. You're just there to sleep. And then, yeah. So yeah, I mean, we argued for probably an hour in my Discord about this. And the majority of us were on the same side of, I mean, it's just a bed. But then there was a couple people that were one person per bed. Everyone else must get on the floor.
And so question, if that person was in the scenario where it was you are in a room with somebody else, there's one bed, it's a king size bed, what do you do besides saying one person on the floor? Are they the one willing to get on the floor?
I mean, I guess they might be. I don't know. One of the funniest things he even said whenever I was talking about sharing a bed with my mom before as an adult, which I've done, like whenever we were at a hotel or something like that, it's like there wasn't anywhere else to sleep. Like, so I'm gonna sleep. He's like, that's basically incest.
Yep. Because So also when I walk down the hall next to like my siblings, it's also incest, right?
right.
Because
too close to contact.
Yep, too close to contact, can't be in the same room, or else it's incest. Apparently, there's nothing else to incest except for being in the same proximity.
Yeah, we didn't get to the point of how you decide. Like, is it rock paper scissors? Like, how are you deciding who gets the shaft here? I mean, I feel like the person that's so high strung they can't share a bed should be the one sleeping on the floor personally.
Yeah, absolutely. If I get said that I'm supposed to go stay in this one hotel, like with some person, and it turns out there's like one king size bed, and I'm like, oh, whatever, we're gonna share, and they're like, oh, fuck that, one of us is sleeping on the floor, I'd be like, well, guess who just chose they're sleeping on the floor tonight?
Yeah, pretty much.
It's not me, the person willing to share this bed. I will be in this bed, and if you would like to join, feel free. Like, that's pretty much what it comes down to. So it's. I will tell you, and I'm trying to think of how to put this delicately, and also try to think of some exact scenarios. I grew up in a very kind of not anything goes, but I don't really care, very easygoing. I will eat whatever, I will sleep wherever, I will like kind of do whatever needs to be done type of life. Live in a fraternity house, dirty, it doesn't get cleaned, whatever. I'm not really gonna throw a fit about it or whatnot. Once I started, granted, moving out to DC was a little bit eye opener. I realized how different like people are than the people that I grew up around or surrounded myself with, where I grew up, at least I can say. Hanging out with Mindcrackers when I would go to conventions, or not even Mindcrackers, but just other people in the space, and to hear stories and stuff. So many people out there are so much pickier about so many things than I ever thought was actually possible.
Like, do you have an example?
So I'm trying to. Food's a big one, but at the same time, that like I don't want to try to cross the barrier because people are vegan, people are vegetarian, and I can't like use those as examples, obviously, because that's
right. You could probably use me as an example because I'm kind of a food snob, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, you definitely are a food snob. And no, it's so weird. You're a weird food snob, because I remember you and I in England when we randomly found that place that had
the
those
fucking chicken sandwiches
for a pound or whatever it was, and we got a bunch of those, and they were like the most delicious chicken sandwiches we ever had at some
really
like ridiculous fast food, side of the place in England, But then there is other things that you would refuse to even attempt. But then it's like funny because you like Golden Corral.
I knew you were gonna say Golden Corral. I was waiting for the Golden Corral. Because people do find that odd.
Outside of your comfort zone.
Well, I grew up poor, and so I've had to eat at the places that the poor people go eat at, and I was always.
I didn't grow up poor, and I fucking love Old Country Buffet.
Sure. I mean, I guess I'm also from the South, so that too. But like, I mean, when we were having this argument about beds, I felt like that it was a cultural divide in terms of like rich versus poor to some degree too, because like whatever. When you're staying at Motel 6, you ain't sleeping on the floor. The bed's already questionable enough.
Oh, people who refuse to fly first class. There you go as an example. Or refuse to fly anything but first class, there you go as an example. I've flown first class once in my life, and it was like really, really, really shitty type of first class. It was like one of those commercial jets over to Vegas that run twice a week or whatever for those things, and we got randomly bumped up. I don't know why we got randomly bumped up, and it was a cool experience because we had a meal and all, but the seat wasn't that much. It wasn't what I've seen you getting into in like Delta Airlines, before. before. And I've never even thought that was possible. But how many people have I seen? Beef, Ant Venom, all these people are like, fuck, I can't fly, coach. I had to upgrade my ticket that they gave me to first class, paid an extra $1,000 for it or whatever. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you people? Like,
I mean, I will admit I prefer first class, but if it's not cost effective, I ain't doing it. I think what it was for me is I never had flight anxiety, and once my daughter was born, I started getting it, and I don't know why. I don't know if it was just like, I don't know if it's like the separation thing or what. Of like being away from the family. I don't know what it was, but I got to where I would like feel like I was gonna have a damn panic attack every time I get on a plane. And the first time I got bumped up to first class by Delta because of like some mileage or status or whatever, I didn't. And it was like they're delivering you food. It was like being in a restaurant is how I equated it. And like something about that separation from normal flight to that made me realize how much of a difference it made. And so after that, I tried to be first class if I could. So, I mean, I'm definitely one that wants to be in first class, but I'm not the one that's going to drop $1,000 to get a first class if it comes to it.
And then we have people at my fire station, and this always is just crazy to me. Like, this fire station, we get $50 in Safeway gift cards per shift for meals. And you're covering anywhere between
shift?
8
for all of
shift.
You guys.
For all of us.
Gotcha.
Yeah, not per person. For all of us to go get food to make a meal. And you're talking anywhere from 8 to 15 people. So, you're making you're not making, lobster and, steak, you're getting something pretty, like low key. So gotten really good at getting a $50 meal for a lot of people that's tasty still without being just always getting mac and cheese or whatever, though mac and cheese is a big staple that we do definitely go to mac and cheese a lot. But for some odd reason lately, getting all these young kids who are the live-ins in the fire station, which they live there for free, but they're broke all the time, don't even have jobs most of the time, and this one kid's constantly like, oh, I need to go get the hamburger buns, for the burgers because we're going out tonight. And he'll come back with a pack of hamburger buns that cost like $7.99. Oh, God. And I'm like, what are you doing, dude? Get the cheapest buns that are over there. Like, we're feeding a bunch of people. Oh, nobody wants those cheap 99-cent buns. These are like the good buns with the sesame seeds. Like, we don't have enough money for this. Oh, come on. It doesn't matter if we go over our $50. I'm like, as the shift officer, I don't get extra food cards. Like, if we go over the $50, we are just out of money. Like, it's
right.
I'm not throwing a credit card down because you want to have something fancy. But I find it really funny that people who are broke refuse to get I'm in bed, by the way.
Oh, sure. Yeah,
refuse to get lower, I can't even say quality per se, but like a store brand something or other.
Right.
Versus instead of getting Kraft singles for cheese, the great value or whatever. I guess cheese is a bad example because a lot of that stuff is cheese products. Like, it's not even real. So I don't even want to get into that. But you know what I'm talking about. A store brand versus, something super fancy. And I find it crazy that it's just like, dude, you're a 19-year-old kid who admits to being broke and you want to spend more money than we have because you don't want to eat the cheap buns.
That's always been one of my pet peeves. And I'm going to kind of make the subject a little broader, but people that are on food stamps that buy cigarettes piss me off. I know they're not buying cigarettes with their food stamps, but if you're getting government
you just mean the wasting of money.
Yes, if you're buying cigarettes, but you don't have enough money to buy food, that's just wrong. Like, I'm very angry at you, basically. I agree with what you're saying. There's one thing that I think people get screwed up with a lot is I constantly see news articles talking about people on food stamps or on assistance and how they pull out their $1,000 iPhone and everybody gets so pissed off about them pulling out their $1,000 iPhone, which I would agree with to an extent, except for a lot of people don't understand a lot of these government subsidy programs give people these iPhones. Really?
They're part of the subsidy to have a communication, and it happened. I know for a long time, Apple was one of the big sponsors of it, and everybody on these subsidy programs was getting iPhones. And there was actually some news articles where in the Flint area, trying to get people to realize that not to get mad at somebody who's on assistance that has an iPhone because it's part of the program, because it was such a big problem for a long time. So,
I mean,
granted,
to me, the type of phone you have, Like, I mean, a cell phone is a thing you need to have. Like, it's a requirement to live at this day and age, I feel. I mean, a lot of people
but
don't
do
have,
you need the newest iPhone?
right. Well, I guess what
or
I
the
was going to
newest
say is
Android?
a lot of times when you sign up for these accounts, the newest phone
They
is
give
the
you a free one?
Yeah, is the free phone
Yeah,
you
yeah.
get for the contract sort of thing.
Yeah.
So a lot of times it's not like they dropped $1,000 on this phone; they just got it with their contract.
Yeah.
So,
I agree. I just want, but some things have to be watched out for. But granted, the random person who's on government assistance who drops $1,000 because they just want to have the newest, yeah, fuck that guy too.
yeah.
But
Got 3 cars in the driveway with rims
Yeah.
and shit. Yeah.
an Escalade, you
Yeah.
got their, and government assistance. And I know a lot of people are gonna like give hate for that as well. There was and this was such an interesting take on it. I've always been a firm believer until I just read this article the other day, about people on food stamps and welfare and the requirement of a drug testing.
Okay. So that's
And
currently not required, right?
I don't think it's required in any state, but there was apparently one of the states is really trying to push it through right now, and that's why there was this article about it. And the really interesting thing that I had never really thought of, and I don't know why I had never thought about this, is they were trying to talk about, yes, we understand people are on, these assistance programs and they're doing drugs, and that's a terrible thing because they're wasting their money, yet they're getting assistance from the government. But who is this assistance actually helping? And when you look at the fact that it's helping their kids, and their
Right.
kids aren't the ones that are on drugs and addicted to drugs and things like that, still want the kids to have livelihood.
Yeah, but maybe they shouldn't have kids if they can't get off the drugs.
Oh, but I mean, at that point, it's too late. It's,
No, I know, but I mean, maybe they should. I don't know. Maybe they should lose their kids. I don't know. I mean, the problem with all of this is now you're looking at even more taxpayer money. You're looking at taxpayer money to drug test them.
There's lots of flaws and craziness with the system, but it's something I had always been a firm believer in drug testing to get welfare and things like that, and how that would, in my opinion, would cut down on some either drug problem or cut down on giving people money who are otherwise wasting it where
Right.
they shouldn't be wasting it. But there is the forgotten side of children. Yeah.
Right.
Oh man, I wish this cough would just go away.
But yeah, I mean, what I was saying there is, if they do fail their drug test, maybe Child Protective Services should be involved in their lives too. I don't know. But then even there, you're looking at more cost to the government.
That's true. Well, it's always more cost, isn't it? There's really no way around more costs.
I don't know. But I mean, in that same regard, then you look at something like marijuana, and it's a state by state thing. So like, I mean, it's so
weird that it's still illegal on the federal level. Like, I don't understand.
It's not even that it's illegal on the federal level. It's how it's classified up there with heroin is what's so fucking jarring to me. Like, I mean, obviously, if it's legal in so many states, it's legal for medical use in so many places. It's obviously not as bad as some of these other drugs, but yet it's
unconstitutionally legal, I should point out.
Right. So I don't know. Marijuana is a weird case where, like, if you did start drug testing people for assisted stuff, like, I mean, what if they're all medical marijuana? Like, I don't know. I guess then you have a prescription, so it doesn't count. Who knows? Who knows how that shit works?
Well, there's places now that are allowed to do nicotine testing and not hire you based on the fact if you screen positive for nicotine, which I find crazy.
Really? Why?
I don't know. I'm unsure. But that's literally taking one of those, whatever the fuck I do on my own time, like, that shouldn't be your business.
Yeah.
I can't say whatever I do because, I mean, that crosses a line. I can't go out, like, murder people like when I'm off work. Or,
I mean, you can.
Child
I mean,
prostitution
that really
ring.
shouldn't. I mean, all those things are absolutely awful. But I'm going to say, no matter what you do in your own time, as long as it doesn't affect what you're doing at your job, it's okay. It's not I'm going to say it's not your employer's.
From the employer's perspective.
Right. I mean, obviously, you should be in prison, so you shouldn't have this job. But
what if your job is the police commissioner?
Okay, then
so you become a conflict of interest to that point.
Yeah. The conflict of interest.
It's always a clause. Yeah, I'm not for all these places that can like drop you based on, you know, a social media post that you made to certain circumstances. Like it gets very, I don't know. We were back in the day when they used to talk about like this person had a picture of them drinking alcohol and they got fired from their job. Like that was a little bit off the wall. Whereas now it's like, you know, this person called out the entire Jews and told them they should all die and burn. Like, okay, now we're in different territory here.
Yeah.
So I don't, it's hard to say that I think you should be able to have, you know, say whatever you want on your social media and it not affect your employer. Because, of course.
Well, you know, I had a job, and I've probably told you this story before, but when I first moved...
I've also had a job.
Well, good. We have this in common. But when I first moved up here from Rock Hill, I had worked at a temp agency briefly, and I had this roommate when I lived in Rock Hill, and he just decided to quit his job and move with me, even though I didn't invite him or anything. It was, and I don't know how I basically ended up with this. He was a welfare case, basically. Like he just got this really good job too in Rock Hill. And I quit my job, doing tech support, and I got like 2 weeks severance or whatever. So I was like, me and Crystal are going to the mountains for 2 weeks. When I come back, I'm moving, up to North Carolina. So you need to find somewhere else to live at some point. I think I'm going to let my mom live here. So you're probably gonna need to move out. If I can't work that out with her, maybe you could rent this place, but you know, either way, I'm moving in 2 weeks. So like work your shit out, sort of thing. And, when I come back, he had stopped going to work. He basically, the day I quit my job, he decided to quit his job too. And he's like, all right, I'm ready to move. And I'm like, you weren't invited.
Let's go. We's a family.
Yeah, basically, I was like, man, we don't even know each other like that. So anyways, he moves up here too. I get a job at a temp agency at first. And I do all these different temp jobs, doing data entry and shit like that. And I get this one job where I'm just doing like the logistics. I'm mailing off their packages and stuff like that. They had an opening in the system administration department for a full-time job, and so they hired me on and that job, and they asked if I knew anyone that could fill the logistics job, and I was like, maybe. And so I took his resume and I put it up on the website that I used to work. What?
I die.
Oh no! You probably lost another mending pick and your elytra.
And 41 diamonds. And
oh no, Jeff.
Yeah. I died good. I tried to drop water down and it just got sucked up in the lava. And
no.
There was one random spot of lava and I saw it and I like turned right and somehow I was in the lava, even though it was like not where I went. It was like a magnet. It was like, oh, take me. That's not good.
Hopefully the good stuff isn't gone.
The lava's still there, I think, so I'm pretty sure it's gone. But we'll see if it exploded outside of me.
But yeah. So, anyways, I put his resume up on this website, the thirdshift.net, which is where I used to like a website from the old place I worked at that had like all kinds of crazy shit on it. It had this like Java game that would kill your browser if you got a question wrong. It like popped up multiple browsers over and over again until your computer died. Just shit like that. It was just this weird website from the place I did tech support at. And it had porn on it, had all kinds of fucked up shit. How these hate letters for people that just hated our group, and just all kinds of shit. So anyways, the URL was at the bottom of his resume because I printed it from the site without even really thinking about it. And so they end up hiring him, and like after like day 2 or whatever, they're like, we need to talk to you guys after work today. And we're like, all right. And so I'd been training in system administration and all this. Anyways, we get called down there after work. They're like, yeah, you're both fired. We looked at this thirdshift.net website and it doesn't fit our company values, so you got to go. And that was that.
Oh yeah, it all gone.
Oh no.
It's one hole too. One little hole.
All your shit went in one little hole.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like one hole to lava, which is a huge pool underneath, but it's just one hole that I went in. I couldn't get out of.
Oh no. The main thing's that elytra.
Yep.
You have the other one, right?
Nope. Remember, because didn't I lose the other one at some point a long time ago?
I don't think so. I thought you had the one that was like your old one from before.
I'm gonna die. I'm gonna get killed again by this creeper here. Boom. And just to go back up to this chest and see. I don't
think it was in that though. I think it's back wherever you started, like 2 years ago or whatever.
Oh. Maybe.
I don't know how to get there or any of that shit though.
We'll have to see. We also just might have to do an end trip for me and go find an Elytra.
If there are any. I don't think Ryoshi could find one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think he decided Chad actually got all of them.
How many did Chad get?
Lots.
Lots?
Apparently Chad has all of them.
All of them.
I think that was the final verdict, is that Chad has all of them. I'm not sure.
Well, if he has all of them, he has all of them.
I don't know. Anyways,
what are you gonna do?
what are you gonna do? I guess let's stop here. Thanks for watching, everybody.
All right. See ya.